The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Women's Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericawomen.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I'm excited to have you joining us as we come together in October. This is a time of year that we've kind of stepped through the transition from summer to fall, and now we're looking ahead frequently at the holiday season. We'll see leaves changing colors around us. It's a really, really beautiful time of year, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to lean in and start reflecting about, are we really stepping into our potential? As we look back at the year behind us, have we achieved or become what we wanted to become? And as we look forward towards the end of the year and looking into the new year, with this awareness, are there shifts or changes that we're called to make? And I just invite you to lean into this and explore, because you have taken a moment today to lean in, to say yes to you, to really learning and discovering some new perspectives on how to unmask your potential. And you're going to hear us talking a lot about masks and taking off your masks and how critical that is to stepping into your potential. So you're in for a great conversation, great information today, but I want to make sure we're really ready to hear and to listen and to receive, because I take the yes that you have made to yourself, that you've said yes to by being a part of our conversation today. And I really want to honor that, but sometimes distractions can take us away a little bit. So I'd love for us to take a moment to really center and ground and be ready to receive. For those of you who are driving, please keep your hands on the wheel, be safe, no texting and driving. But just kind of feel a stillness in you as we guide you through this process. And for those of you who are able to, I encourage you to sit back in a chair, feel it supporting you, and take a deep breath with us. And go ahead and close your eyes. And I'm actually going to have you do this a little bit differently today. So put one hand on your heart and put the second hand on your heart. I really want to bring you fully into your body today, and all of you. And I'm going to give you a moment to now put one hand on your head. Take a deep breath again. And I'm going to invite you to collect any of those things that are pulling at you, maybe distracting you a little bit today, so that you can really open your ears to hear, your heart to receive, your eyes to see what valuable information is being brought to you that's just for you. Because there are messages in every show that can speak into your heart and into your spirit and really guide you on your journey. So go ahead and take a deep breath, kind of collect all of those things that may be pulling at you a little bit, and let's put them lovingly into a box. And boxes are a little bit heavy, so they're in safekeeping, but these are not your focus for right now, for this moment. This is a time for us to be together, and I really want you to receive. Great. So go ahead and put a lid on that box. The box is blue today, and the lid on it to make sure we keep all those things that are kind of pulling at you right now lovingly in that box. Take a deep breath, and we're going to remove this from the room. As we breathe out, remove those distractions from the room. They're in safekeeping. You can collect them after a time together. Wonderful. Okay, come back to this moment with us. Open your eyes. And here's why I wanted to clear some of those distractions, because this unmasking your potential is critical to being able to step into your potential. And this was a really difficult thing for me to learn as I went along, because those of you who've been on the journey with me for a while know that I came from this background of childhood abuse that continued for many, many years into my young adult life. And I had to hide. It wasn't safe to be seen or heard. So this hiding thing really became part of my makeup and key to survival. Even when it was no longer necessary to hide and it was safe, I still would do it. And the other thing I would learn is as I would go along in life, I would start repeating those patterns, being a way in my life that would start to bring those same characters back into my life, putting myself in a victim place. And I would look up periodically and go, oh my goodness, they just have different names, but they're all here again. And I realized I was the common variable in that situation. And that was one of the hardest things to believe and accept, but just on that I was bringing into my life what I absolutely did not want. But here's the powerful other side of that. If that is true, therefore, I can change it. If I'm the one leaning into that and bringing that, I also can be the one that can shift how I play in that equation to bring what I actually want into my life. And so that was a really powerful, pivotal moment in my journey that changed the game of life that I get to play and how I interact with it. And the second piece is that hiding thing, that even though I'd made that change and I knew on an intellectual level I was safe, I would find myself still hiding in very visible ways. So I was out technically in the public, I was sharing, I was being seen, but I was hiding behind my company name or a uniform or a role or my achievements, intellect, whatever it was. I would frequently hide behind that and information. And so I was still serving, I was helping people, but they really didn't know me. And that was a safer place to be, because if they didn't like what I was sharing, it didn't hurt. It wasn't personal. I didn't feel as vulnerable. But I also found that it was limiting the impact I could have to create transformation in my life and others because I was hiding. So the next piece I had to go through in my journey was taking the mask off, and it was terrifying to let people actually see me, which means they may not always like me or what I share or what I'm called to bring forward, and being okay with that, developing a way to be okay with that. And when I was willing to take off the mask and really step into, I am enough, perfect in my imperfections, here is what I have to give to the world, and I hope you'll join me in an authentic, real way. It felt like a weight was lifted. I was more vulnerable, but I was also more connected and able to really touch hearts in a way I had never been before. And so I want to give you a moment to reflect on this and really think about, are you hiding on some level? Do you have a mask that is on right now? Because it can be limiting, creating a barrier between you and your potential, and particularly if the potential you're called to step into involves others. It's critical that we discover how to take that off. And that's why I didn't want you to have distractions today, because it's really easy to not hear this information and to get pulled in a different direction because it feels safer. But I know you're on this show and listening for a purpose and on purpose. You said yes. And so I really invite you to lean into our conversations today. So let's go ahead and take a moment and just think about what I shared with you. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, except those of you driving, again, hands on the wheels, safe. But those who are able to, one hand on your heart, one hand on the top of your head. Close your eyes as we take a breath together. Wonderful. And I invite you to listen for a moment. What is it that you need today that would be supportive of you on your journey? Perhaps taking a look at, do I have a mask on? Am I hiding? Am I stepping into my potential? Really take a moment to reflect on these things. And in that perspective, I invite you to listen to what it is that you need. Again, another deep breath. breathing in, all of you, heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit, and I invite you to receive the wisdom and information being shared with you. It can come in a picture, a memory, words, a sound, a feeling, multidimensional. So really lean into the message that's being laid upon your heart. And then when you are ready, come back into the room, open your eyes. Wonderful. And Isabelle, I was wondering if you had something laid upon your heart to share with our listeners today.
Yes, I do. Thank you for this visualization. It's so beautiful. What came to me is just how to just be myself and not working so hard to present an image of myself that I think is going to be more acceptable, which is something I've done, all my life. And just with this visualization, it's a lot about, I can just be myself right now. I don't have to work hard and put any mask on. Just be open and letting myself be seen right now.
Beautiful. Thank you. I lean into that and celebrate that. Wonderful. Carol, I didn't know if you had something laid upon your heart to share with us.
Well, I am delighted that everybody is here with us today, and I am sure that the reason that you are here with us is because there is some message that we have to share from our hearts, and I am looking forward to doing that.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Carol. And absolutely, I don't believe there are any accidents, and you have to find the show. You need to be able to do it on purpose and with a
Absolutely.
purpose. So I lean into that. I honor all of you being here today. And what is on my heart is this is a sacred time and space that we've created together. And I know Carol and Isabelle, their hearts as we join in the conversation today are really to receive and to serve and pour into you exactly what it is that you need today, in this moment, real time, to support you on your journey. I hope that you feel that, you acknowledge it, that you take it richly in, and I invite you to also remember to tap into your wisdom, because sometimes what you need to hear will be whispered in between the lines of what we share. It'll be something that we didn't even say the words, but somehow through the process of the conversation, your heart was able to receive. So just be very open to that, lean in. And as we go into our first commercial break here, I invite you to sit in this space a little bit and even maybe make a list, write down or a picture of what it is that you need today. Because when we know and it's in front of us, it's a lot easier to recognize and say yes to bringing that in, because I want you to step fully into your potential. We look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed the opportunity to sit in that space of listening just a little bit longer in reflection during that commercial break as we're looking forward to coming back together. And this next segment that we're going to be leaning into is an interview where we're really going to be talking with experts about their perspective and their wisdom on unmasking your potential, taking off that mask and stepping fully into your potential. You're going to hear us talking about that from a lot of different perspectives today. And I wanted to give you a little bit of the background of our first guest expert. You've had the opportunity to hear a bit of her heart in the share this morning. Her name is Isabelle Peyoshu. And what I love about her is her heart and her passion. She has a mission to help people do the work they are meant to do in the world. She has a global vision. She's the founder of Brilliant Seeds and has a gift for seeing people's unique gifts and talents, and not only sharing that, revealing that to them, but inspiring them to step forward. And when they do that, they step more fully into that. That's how they start to change the world, life by life, heart by heart, yes by yes. It is my honor and privilege. Lean in, join me as we welcome the amazing Isabelle to our show. Welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for your beautiful introduction.
Glad to have you. And
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. I want everyone happy when they're joining us, if possible. But I also want them to be real. So it's great. I'm glad that you are really happy in joining us today. And I wanted to start on a personal level because I think sometimes when we're experts in different arenas, people think we just came out that way. We suddenly knew our calling and this is what we do and everything's smooth flowing. And in actuality, there's a different story frequently behind what we do that has propelled us forward to do the work that we do. And so, Isabelle, I was wondering if you would mind sharing with us why the work that you do, helping people in this way, is personally so important to you.
Yes, great question. The main reason is because I'm 40 years old now, and I would say I would live probably 35 years of my life wearing masks and not really showing, especially at work, and not using my natural gifts and talents and who I am meant to be. Not shining with that, but wearing masks to be what is not supposed to be appropriate in the world, in the corporate world, for women. And for 35 or 36 years, it has been my journey. And I was able to get out of that to really now be my authentic self in my life and in my work. And it's what I want for all of us. And it's why this work is so important for me.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. And I've had the opportunity to experience you in person, live. And listeners, what I can share is she glows. Just this passion that she has, this happiness in what she's doing. She has fully stepped into it and shares from a very authentic, real place. And so just as someone privileged to experience that, I wanted to share that perspective with all of our listeners today. And I celebrate that you are really being yourself and authentically bringing forward what you're called to bring forward. And what I love about it is you're helping others do the same. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I love it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So do you mind sharing a little bit in your journey? How did you unmask your potential?
Yeah, sure. So I, for a big part of my life, both in my studies, choices, and in my work, I focused a lot on the more analytical, rational part of myself. So it's a part of me, but it's not all of me. And I chose, field of studies, work that were a lot emphasizing that very rational part of myself, to be very analytical, rational, strategic. So I choose, I studied information science at university. I worked for 10 years in the internet industry as a user experience researcher, just using all this side of me, very, very analytical. And when actually my natural gift and who I am are very different from that. I can be very analytical, but my natural gifts are coming from my heart.
Yep.
I have a natural emotional intelligence. I can relate deeply to people, have deep empathy, and really communicate from my heart, from my intuition, and see deeply within people. And because of all the conditioning from society, from my family, so I just felt like, no, I cannot be emotional. It's not okay to be emotional. I have to be analytical and rational. And it's why I've been wearing all this mask most of my, in my work. Until one day it became impossible. I was so miserable in my work. Like I just wanted to cry. There was a part of me inside of me that was just dying. That was like, please, I need to exist. I need to be there, out there. And it's when I started my own journey to unmask my true potential and do work that is really aligned with my heart and my natural gift to do that with other people as well.
Beautiful. And I'm just pausing here for a moment because I hear from so many people that they looked one way on the outside, but on the inside, they felt very differently. And there was a part of them that was crying and dying inside and crying to be released. And that's just some of what I hear in the echoes of your story and what you're sharing with us. And to just from your heart, and also to share a hope in the journey about what did stepping into your potential, being willing to take that mask off and honor this emotional side of you, saying yes to that, what did that bring you?
Oh, it just brings me so much freedom and so much ease and confidence. Even now, as I'm talking to you, I feel I connect with my confidence because I know I'm talking from my heart. And the beauty when you really talk from, you are in touch with yourself, your authentic self, confidence comes naturally. How sometimes we're like, how can I be more confident? I don't understand. I'm not confident. It's so fun because we are not in touch with our true self. And for me, that has brought that to me, that being in touch with my true self in my business now, with my clients, I feel it myself. I feel strong. I feel confident. And I feel so more joyful and fulfilled in my life overall at so many different levels, not just work, but even outside. I can be my whole self at work and outside of work as well. It just flows more easily.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you for sharing, because I think we can identify sometimes with that pain, but if we're in it, it's hard to know that there is another side and there is something that you can step into that can make and be different in your life. And so I really appreciate you sharing that journey and sharing both sides of taking off that mask, what led you to that, and the joy, in a sense, of being on the other side, and the confidence. You're right. People really struggle with confidence. And here's the simple key that you shared. So here's a tip already in the show. Your first tip. Fabulous. I love it. I love it. And what I was identifying with just in my own journey as I reflect on that I had things I was really good at and skills that I had and ways that my mind was wired, but it used part of me, didn't use all of me. And as I've stepped into the work that I do now, I get to do those things, but now I get to bring all of me in. And I found there's more joy, there's more energy, because I'm not spending energy holding back some of myself, or it's not okay because it doesn't fit within that container of how things are done. And so I just alongside you celebrate stepping into that space. And listeners, those of you who are feeling this pull, here's what's on the other side as you're stepping into your potential and how powerful it can be for you. And I wanted to take a moment because I know you have a secret. What is a number one secret you can give our listeners on how to unmask their potential? We all want to know.
Yes. So the secret is to be seen and to really unmask yourself, you first have to see yourself and accept yourself. It's as simple. Sometimes we look for answers outside of ourselves. How I should be, to be liked, to be successful, to be... All the answers are all in you. And it's all about going back to you. And what lights you up? What are the moments where you feel so happy in your life and in your work? What are the things you do in your life and in your work that you feel, oh my God, when I do this, I'm so happy and I'm so confident and I love it so much. So taking the time for you to going back to you and listening, noticing this moment where you feel totally alive and what especially made you so alive so that you can find the key secret in you to your fulfillment and just unmasking yourself and your true potential.
Yes. So here's a secret that actually sounds fun to do. Discovering what you love, what makes you alive. I encourage you to really spend some time listening and discovering that and exploring it, because you're unique, you're uniquely gifted. And what you have and what's calling to be birthed in you and from you is needed in the world, exactly as it is, exactly as you are. So it's a gift not only to yourself, but to all of those around you when you're willing to spend that time and lean in and discover. And Isabelle, I know our time goes so quickly here, but I wanted to take a moment to have you share about your amazing gift that you've given our listeners today. And if you could do that in about a minute, we should be right on track.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, the free gift I have is actually a gift to help you exactly do what I did and really, unmask your potential and help you find what is your authentic self so that you can bring that to your life and your career. So the free report it's a free report that is called The First Reason People Are Unhappy in Their Career and What to Do About It. And reading it, you'll get a lot of insight about what it is, how to really get in touch with your authentic self, your true self, and really concrete tips to do that so that you can really bring your authentic self to your life and to your career and find a career that's going to match yourself and where you can fully bring your whole self into your work and not just a part of it. So I really invite you, recommend it to you. A lot of people got a lot of insight from it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for making this available. Very generous. And I love how it ties beautifully into your number one secret about unmasking our potential. So listeners, as we're going to our next commercial break, I want you to make sure you join us at the end. I will let you know how to tap into her valuable report to tap into your authentic self and the career that really is going to serve you and bring all of you forward, not just part of you. We look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. 613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to empowering women, transforming lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that commercial break. And I encourage you during these commercial breaks, this next one, to listen to our sponsors. I always want to make sure I highlight them because they're leaning into you. They are organizations and people that are saying, I believe empowering women is important and I want to be part of that. And I believe in it so much, I'm willing to put my time, my energy, my brand, and resources behind that work. And I want to make sure that you know that's the heart of the sponsors. And I invite you to take a listen during our next commercial break to really appreciate those that are appreciating you and supporting this work that we do. Our next guest is somebody that I met at a conference. And I don't know if any of you have ever had that experience where you just kind of connect with somebody you've never met before, but it feels like you know each other and there's a level that you connect on. We had several conversations during this conference. It was an eWomen conference in Dallas, Texas. And as we had our conversation, there was a book that had been laid upon her heart to create. And as things went forward, we could see that part of what I do in my story would be a fit within that book. And it was really an honor and an amazing journey to be part of that project. I know Carol's going to share a little bit more about that. But what I want to encourage you to do is when you have a chance and you have opportunities at conferences or events or even on the bus, to just be open to connections, because I was very enriched, whether or not being part of the book had been the right thing, having my world expanded and getting the opportunity to connect with her on a powerful level made a difference for me. And so, Carol, I want to thank you for that. And you may not have known that, but I wanted to share that. And then I would love to give a more formal background so you know a little bit about Carol as we go on our journey here together. So Carol Plummer is Executive Managing Director of the Montgomery County, Maryland, I was checking that, chapter of eWomen Network, and the CEO of Spirituality for Every Day. And she's passionate about bringing calmness, peacefulness, and clarity into our everyday life. And just as I say those words, it feels fabulous to say and feel. And most people, especially this time of year and we're looking ahead, are really craving this peace and clarity and direction in our life and that calmness. So lean in with me as we warmly welcome the amazing Carol Plummer to the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca.
Glad to have you. And Carol, I love to start on the personal side of things, and it's really looking at why this work that you do around helping people with calmness, with peace, with clarity, really in the world of spirituality. Why is that work personally so important to you?
Well, I have 30 years in corporate America, and when I retired, I decided I wanted to give back. And as I started feeling into what I should do, one of the things that came to me was sharing how my own struggle with finding that inner peace and how I overcame it, and then helping people to find their own inner peace, their own inner happiness, and inner joy.
Beautiful. Thank you. And it's interesting. I didn't realize all of us had backgrounds in corporate America, so it was interesting to discover that as we go along in our journey together. So I didn't know that about you. Wonderful. And I love how that discovery of inner peace has, in a sense, moved you forward to help others do the same. I love it.
Right.
Beautiful.
Right.
Now, going to our subject of the day, unmasking your potential, taking off that mask to step into your potential, what does that mean to you?
What that means to me is being our real, authentic self. And I think that it is interesting that we do have the corporate backgrounds, because I believe in corporate America, everybody has a mask. I mean, you're kind of you're really almost expected to, and there's a great fear to being really yourself. And it really wasn't until I got out of corporate America that I really started to become who I really was. And I think it really is important to use your gifts and skills. And if you're wearing a mask, you can't use all your gifts and all your skills because you're having to protect yourself. And so there's a certain amount of your energy that is being used to protect that, and you don't have that then to give and to help people and to be your full, authentic self and reach your full potential.
Thank you. So what I'm hearing you share is that there is a lot of that pressure, so to speak, in corporate America, and that it may not always be safe because of the expectation to take off that mask. And there's an energy drain, in a sense, that can happen by continually protecting yourself and keeping that mask up, which I could see leading to difficulty in the area of peace and calm.
Yes,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah,
absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you. So it adds great value and great understanding in the work that you do and for those that you're able to support and help with that. Now, I know you went on a journey with this book, Your Whole, Perfect, and Complete. Yeah. And if I am correct, this was your first book project, but it was really laid upon your heart and spirit to do, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you mind sharing some of your journey in that and what you learned and why you were called to create this and the insights that are laid upon your heart to share with us today?
Well, I originally came up with the idea kind of, almost intuitively. And it just felt right that I needed to do a book called Your Whole, Perfect, and Complete. And when I started thinking about it, I became overwhelmed with the idea of doing a whole book on it. It was just mind-boggling. And then I had this idea of, well, why not gather a group of people who have different perspectives and have each person do a chapter with different aspects and their viewpoint and their perspective on the idea and the concept of you are whole, perfect, and complete. And so that's what I did. I then went to a friend of mine who is a medium, and she connects with an entity called Martin, and we consulted with him, and he told us that we should have 12 chapters. And so then we set out to invite people that we knew who we thought would have a good insight and have a perspective. And so we then put together this amazing book with chapters, amazing chapters from 12 different people with 12 different perspectives on all aspects, from everything from your living space to your personal transformation, your personal growth, as well as perfectionism and your health, as well as loving yourself and embracing your gifts.
Beautiful. I love that. I just appreciate so much about what you shared. I'm trying to sort through which piece to comment on first. But I love how you went, wow, I'm called to do this. And you said yes first, right? Mm-hmm. Not before investigating all that needs to be done, how. You said yes. And then you're like, ooh, I said yes to this. Wow. And then you realized that it's not a solo journey, right? That you can do and create things like this and spearhead it in a sense through collaboration. And I believe, so Rebecca's perspective on this is that we can create things so powerful and beyond ourselves when we're willing to tap into the wisdom, expertise of others, that it becomes so rich and so powerful. And this book is really incredible. It has an energy in it that is encouraging and warm and authentic and touches people's lives. It creates transformation in it. So I appreciate you saying yes and not waiting to know all the how. And that you leaned into a very feminine trait of collaboration. I love it. and then brought it all the way to completion, because when you're corralling so many personalities and gifts and authors, that's a really big undertaking. And I'm curious, did you have moments where you thought, maybe I could have done this on my own? Did you ever think that at times?
Well, I did have doubts about, oh my gosh, how is it all going to come together, and are we going to, are we going to fill it, and is it going to be good? How well is it going to be received? And then the whole mechanics of the consolidation, the editing, the compilation, getting everybody's pictures and bios and everything. That it was. I'm not sure I would have done it if I had known all the details involved. But I do want to really thank you and appreciate your contribution, because not only did you do a chapter, Rebecca's chapter, by the way, is Who Me Shine, and is a wonderful chapter almost about unmasking yourself. I would say. And then she recommending some other people who became part of the book.
Oh, thank you, Carol. It was my pleasure. And I just felt such a stirring in my heart for the book and your heart and vision for what it was to be, that I was very honored. And it's that whole thing, who, me, shine? I was always much more, I can list all the talents of somebody else who I feel is infinitely more qualified for whatever it is, rather than sometimes really asking, am I willing? And going through the journey of learning to say yes, just like you did, and then figure out the how. And sometimes I think it's a blessing we don't know all of the journey.
Yeah, I agree. But your chapter is just delightful. I mean, I really enjoyed reading it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And what I would love to share is, I know that you have an amazing gift. We're getting really close to our commercial break. It just goes so quickly. So in a minute, do you think you'd be able to share about your gift?
Yes. My gifts are 2 guided meditations. The first one is on loving yourself, and guide you through some mantras on forgiving and loving yourself, which I recorded and is a supplement to my chapter on loving yourself. And the second is the closing meditation, and is the journey of remembering that you are whole, perfect, and complete, just as you are, provided by Catherine Yarborough, who owns the business Flowing with Change. And you can access those on the website that I assume you're going to present later.
Yes. Yep, I will. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for making those gifts available to us. And listeners, what a rich experience to be guided through that process, and to really leaning into the truth that you are whole, perfect, and complete, and I believe needed, just as you are right now, for such a time as this. And when we come back, we will be leaning into our closing segment. I will share how to access all of these amazing gifts and why, and my guests will share an extra credit bonus tip to support you on your journey. Look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break and you got a chance to listen in a little bit to those sponsors so that you get a feel. And two things. One, that you know who they are, but also that you feel the support coming through the airwaves, that they're really supporting this work around empowering women. I think it's important to remember it's not a solo journey, that there are a lot of people and organizations around the world that believe in you and believe in this work. And so I hope that when you hear those commercials, you feel supported, you feel hugged, and that it reminds you that you are not alone, but you are absolutely supported on your journey. Now, I promised a couple things as we went through the show today, and that was this free gift thing. And that might be a little unusual on a radio show, but let me tell you why we do this. Because I want you to have transformation in your life. And it's great to give you content and information and things to think about, but I want to up-level your experience so that you actually have some tools and resources that you can take out in the world to support you on your journey. That's why we do it. And I want you to start developing a relationship with the experts that we have so you can start to have access to them like I do. It will change your life. So I want to encourage you to lean in. That's the whole heart behind the gifts, why we make them available, and we house them in an easy to access area. Here's how you can find them. You go to Radio Gifts, and it's plural because there are more than one, radiogifts.net. radiogifts.net. And you will find the gifts that we talked about today. We do ask you to put in your name and email address so we can stay in touch with you. And then just scroll down to today's date and you'll see those amazing gifts. And please know that we will have the replay available if you want to re-listen to any part of our conversation today. And we do keep those gifts up. So if you feel something upon your heart to share that with a friend or colleague that might support them on their journey, we really want these tools to go out into the world and help make a difference. That's the heart behind them. That's how you access them. And then the other thing I promised is that my guests had some extra credit bonus opportunities. I call rich tips, important tips to support you on your journey. And so, Isabelle, would you mind sharing your tip or tips for today?
Yeah, no, sure. I'm happy to. So two things I really want to share to all the listeners. First of all, know that you have unique talents and purpose inside of you. You all have that. Sometimes people doubt and ask me, I don't know, do you think I have some unique talents or something unique about me that's going to make me shine? I want you to know, based on my experience working with so many people, that you do. You have something unique to bring to the world. And I want really you to connect with that and be sure of that. And the other thing I want you to know is that often what our gift, we take that for granted. The thing that we are naturally good at and gifted at, we just take it for granted. Like a fish in water. The fish doesn't see that what is the best at is being in the water, and this is the same for you. So it's not, finding your gift is not like complicated thing. It's actually the thing that you do the most naturally, so naturally that you take them for granted. And one tip for you to help you identify more of that is to ask people you know in your life, friends, family, coworkers who know you well, what are the top 5 qualities they see in you? Not just work-related, but in general, what are the top 5 qualities they see in you? And they may be able to see in you something that you do so naturally, that comes to you so easily that you take for granted and you actually discount it, when it actually might be your greatest gift to bring to the world.
Thank you. So the extra credit bonus opportunity, one, I love that you're saying, yes, you do have gifts and talents. So just know that. And sometimes it's hard to see them because they are just so natural to us, like breathing, that we don't necessarily recognize that those are unique qualities and gifts of ours. And I love this opportunity to go out in the world and do a little market research and find what are some of those top 5 qualities. I totally embrace that. And ask them. You can actually, Isabelle, if I can add to this, I was just thinking sometimes people can feel awkward going, so what am I good at? Well, let me know. And instead, if we can go around and say, I've been reflecting on qualities that are unique about each and every one of us. And I was challenged recently to discover some of those qualities I may not be seeing in myself that others do. Do you mind sharing 5 qualities or gifts that you see in me that are unique, that you see as very natural to me? And that can be a way to share where you're not feeling like, tell me how good I am.
Yes, that's a great idea. Totally.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Isabelle. Wonderful.
Yes,
and then, Carol, did you have something on your heart, a tip or an insight that you wanted to share with our listeners today?
Yes, and it's perfect based on what Isabelle says. In my chapter on loving yourself, I identify ways to love yourself more. And one of the exercises that I suggest that you do is to identify positive aspects of yourself. And you can do that by answering these questions or completing these statements. What's special and unique about me? And so you can just journal on that question. Or the idea of people tell me they're amazed that I am, and then you fill in the blank. I'm really good at, fill in the blank. It may be hard to admit it because we don't usually want to brag about what we're great at. And then the final one is no one else seems to be able to fill in the blank like I can. The hint is, what do other people come to you to do because they can't or they're not as good as you are? So these are just ideas for you to journal or write about that will help you identify where your gifts and skills are and what makes you unique and special.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I think we can get such valuable perspective by having mirrors held up around us and shared with us, what people see about us, what's unique to us, what we're uniquely qualified to do that, again, we take for granted. So, or we don't see because we think everyone's like that. That's just normal.
Exactly.
And those are some of our amazing gifts. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate both of your shares, and listeners, I hope you're taking some notes and or going to re-listen to this part and journal on some of these tips and insights, because that's where it starts. It's leaning in, it's building that awareness, and then you can figure out the how. But it's saying yes. It's really willing to say yes to the journey, being willing to tap into your potential, and then take off that mask. And
Right.
Here's what was laid on my heart is action. I think we spend a lot of time getting ready to someday have it perfect and right to bring forward. And what I want to tell you is that you're needed now. If this is laid upon your heart, if you're listening to this show today, you're really being called forth now, not someday, not to add it to the list and figure all that out. There's an urgency to it. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We have today. I hope for tomorrow. I plan on it, but I don't want to ever look back on my life saying, oh, I wish I had. And I don't want that for you. I want you to say yes to the amazing gift that you are to the world, and to be willing to take action, to be willing to say yes, and then figure out that how. And remember, as you're figuring out the how, it's not a solo journey. You have support along the way. You have tools and you have resources, and you are held and supported far no more than sometimes we realize because we forget to look up. So know that you are supported, that you are valuable, that you are needed. But the choice is yours to say yes or no. You get to choose the action, and I hope that it's a yes. because I believe you are whole, perfect, and complete, just as you are. You're absolutely needed now for such a time as this. And that you matter and make a difference. You are a huge gift to the world. So wherever you go, whatever you do, my heart's desire for you is to always, always bloom where you're planted and shine. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Women's Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.